Cheers everybody, welcome to another episode of Bourbon and Booze, and I'm really excited about today. We are going to be delving back into my archive of whiskey that just has slipped by. And this is from 2000 well, I picked it up in 2018, I believe. This is the 2017 Cotswold single malt whiskey. This is their first single malt whiskey. My wife and I fell in love with Cotswold quite a bit in the past when we ran into a small kind of like farmer stand in the Burrows. The Burrows is a famous market in London, and there was the Cotswold distiller people were there, and that's where I tried my first real gin that I liked. I didn't like gin at all up until that point, and fell in love with the Cotswold gin, and now they have a whiskey. So super excited. They actually have quite a few whiskeys now that it's, what, 5 years later, but this is their first ever attempt at a single malt whiskey, and they call this a 2017 Odyssey Barley. And for this 700 mil, they don't do 750s in England, but I think you can buy this in the US, and it is at 750 because I think that's the requirement. But this 700 mil runs you about $50. $50. I believe it is 46 or 92 proof, and no age statement is listed. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not one, but on this particular bottle, I don't see any type of age statement on here. Looked and looked and looked. My eyesight's horrible, and of course somebody's going to say, it says right there, but no, I've looked this over. It doesn't say how long it was aged for at all. Now, I do believe that this particular blend, their very first one, only came out with 80 bottles. That's what it says on here. Oh no, it's a Legacy or Odyssey Barley, and it's a single malt whiskey from previously unreleased distilled of the first 80 bottles. So it's kind of a blend with those first 80 bottles. All right, so let's go ahead and give this a try. It smells like a absolutely delicious single malt, and it's running along a Speyside kind of aroma. Now, the English and Cotswold and Penderyn, these are all UK English distillates, so they're not Scotch. So this technically isn't a Scotch, but it's done in the same fashion. Sometimes with the same grains and stuff. But this is fabulous. This is very floral. Lots of barley, that malted barley sense. There's very slight hints of smoke, but not much. A sweetness of honey, like a honeysuckle. A little bit of citrusy, maybe a tangerine, orange. But it smells like a nice, sweet Speyside. I just don't know how to describe it any other way. Gonna give this a 4 on aroma. Of course, it's a 1 on price. Just fabulous. There is a slight, very slight tingling burn on the nose. And at 92 proof, that would be expected. No heat, no bite, no sting, no spiciness on the up front. Just a hints of it on the back end. It's a little bit of warmth to it with some earthy tones, I would say. People think this is so weird, and they've argued with me, and then I've explained myself, and then they can kind of see it. But I get a mushroomy kind of vibe to this. Still getting those florals, those sweetness. Definitely going to be looking at honey or possibly some muted vanilla in there. Some richness, like a dark chocolate. Again, that citrusy tangerine, but heavy florals. It's actually really, surprisingly, freakily, just blind tasting. I'd say this was a Speyside, and not just a Speyside, but a very well and complex Speyside. I would have to say this is a 4 to 4.5 on flavor, and we're going to go ahead and say it's a 4 on bite. I know I've been a little bit heavy on my generosity on the awarding of barrels, so to speak, to these, but I just feel like we've had a string of really good whiskey lately. This is absolutely fabulous, and I will be definitely looking. I'm actually headed back to the UK this week in just a couple days, and it's not really a whiskey hunt trip. In fact, I jokingly said I'm not bringing back anything, and we all know that's a lie. We'll always buy something at duty free because it's just convenient and it's there, and the travel exclusives are very nice. But yeah, I'm gonna have to say that I would be on the lookout for another Cotswolds single malt whiskey and see what else they have to offer. I wonder if they have a smoky one. I'm gonna have to look. I haven't done any of my pre-planning for this trip yet for, you know, what I'm hunting for, because I'm not bringing back anything. Excellent. I would like to know your opinion. I do know you can get this in the U.S. I'm not sure if it's the 2017 Odyssey single malt, but you can get Cotswold here in the U.S. Absolutely fabulous. It's about $50. Might get a little cheaper. I think in the UK it's running, when I bought this, was between 35 and 40, but that was pre-COVID and all of the distribution and manufacturing fallout that occurred because of that. So probably around 50 now is what I've seen online. Really curious to know what you think. What other English whiskey should I look at? Because I do know there's Penderyn, which is the Welsh single malt, and then of course the English, huge fan of it. Plan on going to it later this week, probably this weekend. And of course Cotswold was the first thing that I latched onto in England. But let me know what you think I should go do. You only have a couple days because I am leaving on Wednesday. Taking Cody with me, so that's going to be a first. Haven't been to, Cody and I went to Scotland 8 or 9 years ago, but before he turned legal age to drink, and so might have been longer, almost 10 years ago. So, but I do really want to know what you think and what we should be on the lookout. But tell me what you think about this one specific, and leave your comments down below. Remember that we do have Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Threads. We don't have Twitter. Why did I say that? I got to get used to not saying that. We have TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and of course we have merchandise. And we are daily working on the evolution of this channel and our merchandise and a whole new product line. We got some big things going on. It's just a constant, everyday work on that, and I'm super excited. But go ahead and check all those out. Make sure you do hit like and subscribe this video and watch all of our other ones. We moved it to 3 o'clock, but that may not have been a good idea, so we'll have to see. All right, remember, there's no bad whiskey. There's only good whiskey and great whiskey, and this is going to be categorized as a great whiskey. I'm going to put this at a 4 overall. I know that price is a little hefty, but everything else rounded out to 4, so yeah, 16 points. We love it. Cheers.